Hello everybody and welcome back to the Take 5 Art Challenge for the month of December. This month the prompts are brought to us by the lovely Sylvia, and I've put the prompts up on the screen there for you. And I actually just got into it this month, so I'm going to put the prompts up as we go. So the first thing I'm doing here, this is my large Dina Wakley art journal, and I've got the layout open on two of the cotton pages. And so I'm starting off with prompt number 1, which is a seasonal napkin. What I'm doing here, and the vision that I had in my head was I wanted to do like a tablecloth using this sort of Christmassy seasonal napkin. And so I'm sort of drawing out the table. It's going to be on a bit of an angle, so I do struggle a little bit with perspective in this layout, but it works out in the end. I like how it goes. I am just peeling off the second. I've already peeled off, there's usually 3 layers to these napkins. One that comes off really easy, and the other one is stuck pretty good. So this is my trick. I grab a little bit of sticky tape, stick it back on each other, and then you just kind of stick and pull the second ply off, just like this. And it is a struggle sometimes, so I'm making it look easy by making it go really fast. But yeah, so once that's done, I'm going to put my tablecloth down with some Mod Podge here. And I did rip the edge of the napkin a little bit so that it came on an angle, like I said, on the side of the table. I apply the Mod Podge underneath, and then I do a layer of Mod Podge on top so that the napkin doesn't get torn or worn out, I suppose. And I love the hard, crinkly feeling of a napkin once it's been Mod Podged, so adds a little bit of texture to the layout. After that's been dried, I'm now going to go ahead and reach for my Stabilo All pencil in the color black, and I'm just going to outline the table a little bit. And then what I decided to do was I wanted to have a little bit of a plain background. So this is, if you can imagine, a plain wall in the background. So imagine, or like an older home where the walls are a little bit cracked, and they've just put all their money towards buying this beautiful tablecloth on their table, and that's about it. So the tablecloth, I wanted the tablecloth to really pop, and so I wanted the background to be quite ordinary. I will go ahead and stamp some cracks in the walls, so it's going to look really lovely to contrast that lovely tablecloth seasonal napkin. This is my Stabilo Woodies. I bought this for myself for my birthday, and I try to do a little bit of perspective table here. I really hate it, and I will fix it up in a moment. I love Stabilo Woodies because they're you can use them as a wax crayon, and you can use them as like water soluble. Now the next prompt is black and white photos, and I'm showing you, this is some paper from Pion. I think you say it Pion, Pion. I say Pion. Pion Designs. And I'm just using some photo frames here to outline it. In my head, I wanted it to be a photo frame, and not this looks like a Polaroid photo. I will cut it down in a moment to make it look more like a photo frame. So what I wanted the vision I had in my head was somebody who was missing someone at this time of the year, and so they just had a beautiful bunch of flowers and a picture of a sweetheart on top. So I'm going to go ahead now and just sort of put in the general sort of layout of the vase and the flowers, and then I'm going to be using a little bit of white paint to block in the vase, and then I'm going to use some of my Stabilo All pencil to sketch in flowers and leaves. And then I'm going to use some black paint to sort of outline the roses or the flowers, whatever. I think they turn out to be roses in the end. They could be ranuncles, I'm not sure. So this is me now just doing some abstract flowers. I've been doing this sort of scene for the last 6 months or so. I'm sort of a little bit fascinated and obsessed with vases of flowers. I love drawing them sort of in all different kinds of colors. And it's pretty abstract. I don't know how to draw realistic flowers, but I really do enjoy this. And so I'm just doing sort of half circles, using first like beige, then a little bit of pink, then a little bit of red, and then going back in the beige and just adding layers of petals, I suppose. And this for me is quite meditative, if you can say that. I just zone out and I hum, and I don't really know what time it is. It's just a lovely way to spend time, which is why I just come back to this sort of scene over and over in my art journal. And this is the first time I've videoed myself doing it. So yeah, I thought I would take you along on my process. So I'm just painting in leaves. I'm using my palette knife here to do a little bit of stalks for the flowers and a little bit of leaf color as well. I'm just blocking in some water here, and I don't know, just playing, trying to work on perspective and making it look a little bit realistic, although it's not supposed to be realistic. It's just abstract. Trying to come in now to finish off that table, and I think I don't like this either, and I do go back and erase it and try again, and third time is lucky. Here's where I'm using some of the crackle stamp, and here is the back wall. The back wall looks like old, and I like it. Really aged, really vintage against the fresh tablecloth and the lovely vase of flowers and the lovely picture of the sweetheart. I'm now coming in with just a little bit of green on the stalks and adding in a little bit of highlights here, so a little bit of white paint, and I will be adding some shadow into the flowers as well. So I just keep going back in with different colors, adding different shapes of semicircles, a little bit of dark color, and then light color, then a little bit of red as well, filling in the spaces in between each of the flowers, just to make it look a little bit realistic in this abstract kind of way. I'm also paying attention to the direction of the roses. Some are facing outwards, some are facing head on to you, and some are facing the opposite way. So I'm still trying to learn perspective and direction and all those arty things, which I'm really enjoying and taking my time and really understanding. Coming in with my wax crayons again, and I'm just going over it and blending it in, making it look quite textured, and just really enjoying layer upon layer, which really adds character and depth to your subject matter. Okay, so we're on to prompts 3 and 4, elements from nature and wool. So what I've got here are little stalks that I found that are very thin, and the other element I have is wool, and I thought of cotton wool straight away, like makeup cotton wool. So I scrunched each one into little balls, and I thought I would attempt a go at making baby's breath. And so here on the side there, I'm just sort of doing clusters of 3 balls and then adding the little stalks in as a 3D sort of texture. I love how it turns out. It turns out really wonderful. I love the idea. I'm so happy with how it worked out. So it's really cool. I'm using Mod Podge to put everything down. Now, I'm finally attempting this perspective on the table, and I finally get it to work here. I'm gonna blend that wall in again. I'm gonna dry it, and then I'm gonna add the crackle, and then I'm gonna come in now and do a proper leg to the table, and it works this time. So if at first you don't succeed, try again, as they say. All right, there you go. So I'm really happy with my table now. And now it's time, I'm just going to cut that photo down from Polaroid to almost like photo frame. I want to have it, at first I thought I was going to put it so it was like a photo frame on the wall, but I really wanted to have it as a photo on the table next to the vase of flowers. So that's what I'm going to end up doing. And finally, prompt number 5 is a poem. And this is one of my all-time favorite poems from one of my all-time favorite poets. This is by Rumi, and it says, "I choose to love you in silence, for in silence I find no rejection. I choose to love you in loneliness, for in loneliness no one owns you but me. I choose to adore you from a distance, for distance will shield me from pain. I choose to kiss you in the wind, for the wind is gentler than my lips. I choose to hold you in my dreams, for in my dreams you have no end." And yeah, this is someone who is longing for someone but does not have the courage to go for it. Definitely not something I subscribe to. I'm all about going for what you want, but this is someone who is very young in love and is afraid. So I understand this because I was this once, which is maybe why it resonates with me. So I don't know. This is one of my favorites. It's just so gentle, and yeah, it makes me yearn for old times when things were so much more simpler, Once I've Mod Podged everything down, what I'm going to do next is just put a little bit of shadow. So I'm just adding a little bit of black with my all pencil around each of the sentences, and then I'm going to use my paintbrush and just wet it and give a little bit of shading. I'm also adding just a little bit of gray to the white, so it's not so stark against that beige background. You can really see the crackle here. The crackle is awesome. I love the crackle in the background or on the wall. Just old, and someone who's looking at a rich girl maybe, and he feels like he has nothing to offer her. So yeah. And finally, what I wanted to do was just add a little bit of black around each of the baby's breath elements, just to give once again, a little bit of shadow, a little bit of depth. And after that, I'm going to call this done. So thank you so much for joining me, everybody. I hope you enjoyed watching this process. Go ahead and check out what the other girls are doing for this month of December. I can't wait to see what they're doing. And if you are interested in joining in, I'd love you to use the hashtag Take5Art on Instagram. And we'd love to see what you make with the prompts this month. Thank you so much for joining me, and I'll see you in my next video.